Hello, this is Terry Sullivan, Thanksgiving, November 27th, 2025. I have a new whistleblower complaint that I'll be reporting uh, to SPL because I provided all the information I can about SR, Solvent Recovery, and Pank Manager DO. I can't provide them any more information. The ball's in their court until Monday because managers don't work the long weekend. Anyways, this is a new whistleblower accusation about Human Resource Manager MS. She has the initials MS. You mean the person investigating the guy with the SEX material on his phone? Yes. They investigate themselves, which is really convenient for them. Anyways, in a meeting with SR Pank Manager DO and Human Resources Manager MS at the end of May, Human Resource Manager MS admitted the holiday policy, SPL's holiday policy, was in fact illegal. That I had finally used the right words in an email to convince upper management that the holiday policy was illegal. I had to choose the right words. We can have this illegal policy if you don't choose the right words there. Anyways, I did get an email about that meeting that Human Resource Manager MS sent to me after that. It was either right after the meeting, May 31st, or the next day, June 1st, saying what she was going to do to correct the illegal holiday policy. Unfortunately, what she did was nothing, but whatever. She did list what she would do. But before I go into that, let me just look at the policy here. I pointed out its illegality over 8 years ago with the head of SPL, DK, and he's a lawyer. And in that meeting, he clearly stated that there was nothing illegal about the holiday policy and even spouted some statute in the Wisconsin law. What's the old saying? Ignorance of the law is no excuse. Well, a lawyer should have known better. But that's the kind of leadership they have at SPL. Employees might want to take note of that. Anyways, in that meeting over 8 years ago with head DK, he stated to me that it is illegal to provide a benefit to one group of employees that you do not give every employee. That's the key. That's the key for this holiday policy, which I have showing. You can't give a benefit to one group of employees that you do not give to every employee. It's illegal, and he told me that over 8 years ago. So that's the key that SPL manager DK gave me, and he probably shouldn't have told me that. But you know the managers at SPL, they're not that bright. So it was that knowledge that manager DK passed on to me that I'm using now. He's a lawyer. He knew it was wrong 8 years ago, and he knew it was wrong on this revision. You can see here in the upper right, this was revised the 1st of January 2023. And you're saying, oh, well, you can't go back 8 years. Okay, they've been operating under an illegal policy for 3 years. Is that any better for you? Right? So you only broke the law for 3 years instead of 8. So what are you complaining about? But anyways, right here in section 3A, holidays, they list the 9 company observed holidays. And down here it says, Human Resources will notify employees the specific dates that will be considered paid holidays each year. Holidays which fall on a Saturday or Sunday are usually celebrated on the immediately prior or the next business day as determined by Human Resources. So basically, now if Christmas Eve and Christmas Day fall on the weekend, they move the holiday to Friday or Monday. So in 2022, when I worked Saturday, Christmas Eve, and I worked Sunday, Christmas Day, those were not holidays. The holiday pay and holiday benefits went to the person that was working on December 23rd and December 26th. So here's where it becomes illegal. SPL moved the holiday from a weekend so that the office employees could get the benefit of paid time off. You see, holiday policy, it's a 2-part benefit. You get pay and you get time off. So you get time off with pay. Well, what happens in 2022 when I worked on December 25th? That's not a holiday. Let's move it to Monday. Oh, That's my regularly scheduled day off. So you'll pay me 8 hours of holiday pay, but where's my time off? They forgot the second part of the holiday pay, the time off. It's a two-part benefit. That's the illegal part. In 2022, after working Christmas Day as a non-holiday, the holiday fell on my day off. So I got 8 hours of pay on my day off, but I didn't get the 8 hours of time off because they didn't move the holiday for me. They'll move it for office people, but they won't move it for the people that are actually working that day. Um, and again, SPL manager DK told me that was illegal 8 years ago. So when he approved this revision, because he's the head of SPL, so he has to know what's happening in his company. So he knew when this was revised in January 2023 that it was illegal and he didn't care. So that'd be one thing if I was complaining about it, However, I did provide them with a legal solution that was used when I worked in the nuclear plant. And thank God no one there pissed me off. But they took the bundle of holiday hours. They had 80 hours at the time of holiday. And just that 80 hours to use when the employee saw fit, right? So if they worked the holiday, say I worked Christmas Day, if I had some of that 80 hours of holiday hours left, I could use 12 hours of holiday on the day I was working and get double time for that day. And it could only be used as double time. You could only use that holiday pay if you were actually working on the holiday. You couldn't double up, say, on April 15th. That's a non-holiday. I want to get paid double time. You can't do that. Only if you are working the actual holiday could you use the holiday hours, those 80 holiday hours, if you had any left, to get double time. And if you were working a holiday and you've already used up your 80 hours, it's your regular pay. You've used your holiday hours. So I provided them with a legal solution that they could have implemented prior to July 4th. They let July 4th pass with no change to the holiday policy. They let Labor Day pass with no change to the holiday policy. So I sent them a bunch of emails that they got upset with and said were disrespectful for management. Oh well, whatever. But anyways, in addition to letting the July 4th holiday pass and the Labor Day holiday pass, we're now on a holiday. So they're letting Thanksgiving and the day after Thanksgiving, 4 holidays pass after they know their holiday policy is illegal. So since I don't want the human resource manager MS and the head of SPL manager DK to only have to investigate themselves, because imagine having to investigate yourself for something that you did wrong. How's that going to turn out? So rather than have these upper managers investigate themselves, I'm writing and calling the Wisconsin Department of Workforce Development, dwd.wisconsin.gov. And I'm going to let them know that SPL has been operating under an illegal holiday policy for over 8 years, and certainly for 3 years that this particular policy has been in effect. Hated to report them, but I cannot have them investigating themselves. Needs to be an independent party. Let's just take a look, see what ChatGPT has to say. I'll ask them what happens when a company ignores an illegal holiday policy. Here's a clear and straightforward explanation of what happens when a company ignores a holiday policy, an illegal holiday policy, written in a way that's useful whether you're thinking about workplace fairness, management responsibility, or legal consequences. Well, so they give us the whole thing. So legal consequences, violating labor laws can trigger investigations. You see, I don't want them investigating themselves. That's not right. That's not fair to the employees. To let the managers investigate themselves, but the employees don't get to investigate themselves. So anyways, employees can file complaints with, and it gives you where you can file your complaints, can lead to fines, back pay requirements, mandatory policy changes, and sometimes legal penalties for the company. Well, I hope manager DK knows that. He's a lawyer. He probably knows there could be legal penalties. Loss of employee trust. All right, good management style there. Employee notices unfair rules. That's what I've been touting in all my videos. The workers feel the policy is legal or unfair. Management acts like nothing's wrong. Trust disappears. Kind of like their COVID policy management they tried last week. Hey, these COVID numbers are really high. Well, stop testing and the numbers will come down. What they did was they brought employees in and said, hey, don't talk bad about the company. If we don't hear complaints, everything must be fine. That's great management style. The old COVID number one. I love it. Anyways, so it leads to lower morale, high turnover. That seems to be what we have there at SPL, and employees doing the bare minimum. Well, obviously SPL management doesn't care about that. Increased human resource problems. Really? Once employees believe management does not follow the law or fair policies, you get more complaints. Nope, we'll just call them in and say, don't complain. You'll get more conflict. Nope, don't say anything bad about the company. More HR investigations. Well, then I'd have to investigate myself, and I'm not going to do that. More mistakes and more resignations. Ignoring, what was that say? Ignoring the problem often makes the problem bigger. That's okay. We've got a holiday weekend. We can't look at this till Monday. Retaliation risk. If an employee complains about an illegal policy, the company cannot legally retaliate. Good thing I wrote letters that they thought were disrespectful to management. But if they do intentionally or by sloppy management, the company risks wrongful termination lawsuits, retaliation claims, higher legal damages. Well, the person running SPL with the initials DK, he's a lawyer. He knows about legal damages, but he's letting the company operate with illegal holiday policy. More power to him. Retaliation claims often cost the companies more than the original issue. Oh well, bad reputation. Yeah, imagine if people trying to, find a job see these videos. They're not going to apply at SPL. Come on. Leadership credibility falls apart. That's what I've been trying to tell you. That's what I tried to tell you in all those emails that you said were disrespectful. If upper management ignores illegal policies, employees tend to question every other decision, stop respecting leadership, stop believing in company values, and stop going above and beyond. It cannot function without credibility. Imagine if the FDA got hold of some of this information that the human resource manager knowingly screws over their employees. Imagine if the FDA found out that SPL just will lie to their employees and take advantage of them and not care. Let July 4th pass with no change to the holiday policy. Let Labor Day pass with no change to the holiday policy. Here on Thanksgiving, no change to the holiday policy. And Black Friday, no change to the holiday policy. When I provided them with a legal solution that worked at the nuclear plant I worked in 1995, 30 years ago. They could change the policy. They chose not to. And here's the summary from ChatGPT. They list legal trouble, loss of employee trust, HR chaos. Well, she brought it on herself, and damage to their reputation. So that's where we are. Here's the workforce development that I contacted. So there's my update. I'm providing whistleblower information about a different employee at SPL. I mean no harm to myself or others. This is just informational so the employees know what their management's doing. Have a great Thanksgiving. Bye.